In the previous video we built these two surfaces with tangency, with tangent continuity, but as you can see in my design I have a tangent break there. So if I put the locator on, you can see that it's indicating that we did not achieve tangency, but if I put positional, it has positional. So that's what we're going to do in this video. I'm not too worried about that because it's not so big, like that break isn't too big, it's not such a big deal. And it will make it easier for us to build the surrounding surfaces as well. Right, so we'll begin by moving the CVs on this curve. We'll move this one closer to the center, and just before we do that I want to make sure that we have geo alignment on the other curve. And now I'm just trying to get a similar shape to the hood, so I want to make this curve a bit more parallel to the edge of the hood, and then moving this middle point closer to the center of a car, because this will give us this will be easier to intersect with the surface we'll build next. Okay, so now you can build your shoulder surface. There we have it. And then switch off explicit control. And now if you look at it, it's not even that bad, it's even better than in my design. Like if you look at it, that tangency break is really minimal. If I put a double horizon shader on, you can see that I almost achieved G1 continuity there. So yeah, that's looking pretty good. Right, now we'll build the bottom edge for the surface that we will use to intersect the shoulder. We'll make sure that it's got degree 2, and we'll build our surface with rail surface tool. There it is. And this red arrow indicates that I've got some issue there, so I just want to check that I have geo alignment, and if I query edit it again, you can see that that red arrow has disappeared, so that was the source of the problem. And now I'm moving the middle CV of the curve we've built a while ago. And I'm just watching the highlights because I want to achieve a really nice highlights here. I don't want the surface to be too wavy, so something like this looks really nice. Okay, so now you see it better what we're trying to do. So we want to intersect these two surfaces. So that's what we'll do now. We'll intersect them, creating curves on surface. And I'm just checking if we can trim them. Yep, so we can in this case. Right, next we will edit this blend, so we'll align it with tangency on this end, and we'll do the same on the other end, on the other side, but now we'll move this arrow lower, and we'll also change the alignment. We'll skew this side of a surface down, and you want to watch all of your holes. You want to make sure that you're creating nice curvature along that top edge, so that there is nice curve. And on this side we're using edge align. Okay, so that's nice. Right, now if you look at this surface, you need to make sure that the surface is below the top edge of the blend, and you can see that it is indeed, because we'll need to intersect this surface with the top edge of that blend later on. But what I've noticed now that you see this red cross there, that means that our surfaces do not intersect properly. So first thing I can see that I forgot to switch off explicit control. And what I'm doing here is I'm moving the middle point of the curve a bit more outwards, and now we're getting green cross. So now these surfaces intersect fully, so we can now trim them if we want to. It will not cause any more issues. Right, so now we will build a surface with a multi-surface draft, and we'll extend it in Y vector, and we'll intersect it with this surface. So there you see our curve on surface, and I'm just checking if we can trim it, and it's looking good as well. So now we can start building our headlight surface. So I just build the new curve. Again, it's degree 2 as always, and I'm going to connect this curve with side panel, change the degree to 2 on these new curves, and align them to side panel with tangency. And you do the same with the other curve. But here you want to use project, and you want to project it in Y vector. You don't want to use UV alignment, you want to use projection. And right now I'm just manually flattening or planarizing the curve. You can use the tool, it doesn't matter, you just need to make sure that you don't lose the history. So you can build your surface, you can use G1 alignment to side body. And now I'm just shaping this curve again. I'm just trying to improve the design of the car now. Just trying to get a better shape. And as you can see, we have a gap right here, so I need to move this in Y. But now that cut is a bit too deep, so I want to move it forward as well. But just before I do that, I'm checking everything. I'm checking if I have alignment, if my curves on surfaces are still fully intersecting both of my surfaces, and so on. So we want to watch everything. Don't be too focused on one CV, watch what's happening around, because with this type of modeling you have history alive on everything, so this move can cause misalignment in the other area as well. Okay, so still playing with these curves, watching the curves on surfaces, and I have a bit of a concave shape here, so that's the last thing I'll try to fix. And I'll move this one a bit as well, and there we go, like that's looking a lot better now. And right here I'm using arrows to extend this surface forward a bit, and you want to make sure that you're using those arrows, because if you won't use them you might lose tangency. And then when you're happy with your surface, you can break the history and extend the top edge with extend and merge on. And you can do the same with shoulder. But with shoulder I'm going to extend the corner only. I'm not going to extend whole edge, I'm just dragging it with one corner. And what you can already see is that these surfaces do not intersect properly. I need to move this point lower, and you can select both or you can just select one, it doesn't matter. It's more about what kind of shape you want to achieve. And then when you're happy with that, again you want to trim everything, and if it doesn't trim you want to make sure that you extended your surfaces far enough and that everything is aligned with position. And when you've done that you can trim your surfaces. So that's what I'm doing here. Trimming the headlight surface, and then as you can see I have geo continuity now. I'm just gonna trim this. There we go. And we'll trim this one as well, and the headlight. Okay. So now if I put the locators on, you'll be able to see that I have geo continuity everywhere, so if you would want to mill this model, there wouldn't be a problem with that. So that's how you build the front end. And lastly, I'm just turning the CVs on these surfaces, and you can play around with their position, with the position of that last CV, because that will affect how this top edge of a headlight looks. Like right now you can see it's a bit wavy, but if you play around with the points on the headlight and on shoulder surface, you'll be able to improve that and make it a bit more of a positive curvature rather than positive and negative. So it won't be S-shaped, but it will be more like an even curve. And if you're struggling to achieve this, you can also add a bit more, you can add 30 degree to your surfaces, so you don't have to keep it degree 2, you can always go to degree 3 if that improves the design. And that way you'll have even more flexibility with your surfaces. So you can, if you play around for a bit, you can easily create something that looks way better.